Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a weather watch alert. The temperatures are up and so is the humidity. We have live team coverage on how residents are staying cool.
Plus, mosquitoes test positive for West Nile virus in one community. We'll tell you where they were found and how to protect yourself.
And legislators responding to a report that state police may have falsified thousands of tickets. What's being done now to find out what happened?
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a weather watch alert.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. We're in a weather watch alert here tonight. It is hot and humid outside, and that heat isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We could see a potential heat wave coming our way this week. We have live team coverage tracking the latest temps outside and what you can do to stay cool.
We want to send it right over first, though, to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for a look at the forecast. Rachel.
Sure, it was hot outside today, but it is just going to get progressively hotter and more humid. So we have this weather watch alert for two reasons. For one, the high heat and humidity during the day tomorrow. There is a heat advisory in effect, and it could feel like up to triple digits during the afternoon and early evening. But we're also watching the threat for scattered strong to severe storms. Damaging winds, locally heavy rain are going to be the biggest threat in any storms that end up developing. But we also have to watch for the threat for an isolated tornado somewhere in the northeast. So it's one of those things that we'll just keep a really close eye on just in case. And storms will be hit or miss tomorrow, mainly between 3 to 9 p.m. Right now we're quiet, though. It is a beautiful evening ahead if you don't mind the warmth. Temperatures tonight dropping back through the 70s, and it gets increasingly humid. We are talking Florida territory by the time you wake up tomorrow. And here's a look at that heat index. By 11 a.m. already feeling like 90 degrees and triple digits. There it is as we head towards 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll start the day off with quite a bit of clouds, but I think we break for more sunshine as we head through the middle of the day. And then we'll have that rising chance for scattered showers and storms in the afternoon and early evening. We'll take a closer look at when the heat breaks coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, today's extreme hot weather protocol was activated today, and it's going to last until Sunday. If you thought today was hot, as Rachel said, wait until the next 2 days.
It's going to get a lot hotter here. Out in these scorching temperatures is Fox 61's Carmen Chow. She joins us live in West Hartford to explain how people are handling this extreme heat. Hi, Carmen.
Well, hey there, Ben and Jen. It's actually a lot better right now. It's not as hot as it was earlier today, but you can see I'm at the splash pad, and I decided to choose this as my live shot location because all of this water that's spraying behind me actually feels really good. But this is just one of the many ways people are beating the heat, which is loved and hated depending on who you ask.
It's a little extreme in there.
Work for Allison Brawl can range anywhere from 2 to 13 hours in this food truck.
It's really hard to work over a grill and over a fryer with the heat.
And the one thing that keeps her going in this food truck when it gets this hot.
A lot of passion, a lot of love for customers, a lot of getting good food out there.
Dr. Cynthia Price with Hartford Healthcare has this advice for anyone who has to work in this heat.
Take lots of breaks. Get places where you can get cool, whether that's shade, whether that's going inside of a building.
Most importantly, staying hydrated is key.
Those Gatorades, things that have minerals, putting them back once you've sweated out, those are great to drink. Water is always the best. What's not great is a cold beer or 2 or 3.
But there are always plenty of ways to cool off. One of them, a splash pad. Grandparents and parents taking their little ones for a little splish splash before summer's over.
I love heat. And I'm from Argentina, but I just love heat, and winter's too long.
And you can always look on the bright side.
I don't like what it's going to be like on Friday, but this isn't bad.
Others like Malaysia Smith with Capital Ice Cream can agree with that.
Even just 80, I don't know why you're saying 95, even just 80 is like too hot.
Take it from these ladies who has seen an influx of customers looking for a cold, sweet treat.
When I'm leaving, I definitely take it to go. And yesterday it was like melting on my shoes.
Now, of course, there are some who are just a bit more vulnerable to the heat, like children and the elderly. Now, the best advice for them is minimize staying out in the sun and stay indoors where there is shade. For now, I'm live in West Hartford. Carmen Chow, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Carmen, thank you. Let's get to the health watch here tonight. Another heat-related story. The state reporting mosquitoes have now tested positive for West Nile virus in Wethersfield. It's the first time that West Nile virus has been detected in mosquitoes this season. So far, no human cases have been reported this year. Officials say they're closely monitoring mosquitoes for the virus. To reduce your risk of being bitten by mosquitoes, be sure to wear long pants and minimize time spent outdoors between dawn and dusk, and use bug spray. We'll do tonight new body camera video from Bristol Police showing the moments when officers took Dennis DJ Hernandez, the brother of Aaron Hernandez, into custody after allegedly making threats to carry out shootings at several different universities.
Get down! I'm not armed, but get on the ground. Get on the ground.
That was the moment. Police say prior to taking Hernandez into custody, he told an officer he was going to fight and that the officer better be ready. Hernandez also said that he did have a gun and would shoot any officer who came near him. Hernandez was taken into custody after one officer used his stun gun.
Well, we are learning new details tonight about a tragic incident in Hartford where a 2-year-old died after falling from a third-story window. Fox 61's Matt Karen live in Hartford after learning more about the unsafe conditions the family was living in. Matt.
Yeah, that's right. Today we dug into an 8-page police report which not only describes how 5 children were left unattended without any adult supervision, but also how they were discovered to be living in filth. 48 hours later, this makeshift memorial marks the memory of little Cornelius, the 2-year-old Hartford boy who died after falling from the 3rd-story window of his apartment on Capitol Ave.
The tragedy that we saw here, is an example of the really awful things that can happen when families are struggling to get by.
The boy's mother, 34-year-old Tabitha Frank, charged with 10 counts of risk of injury to a minor, but the circumstances complex. Evidence suggests Frank may have left Cornelius and her 4 other kids alone to Uber drive just to earn money for food and diapers.
Oftentimes, poverty is conflated for neglect, and there are times where families struggle with basic needs.
New details from the police report show officers found conditions inside the apartment abysmal, with no air conditioning, bugs, mold, piles of garbage, and clothes soiled in feces. Moral of the story, if you see or smell something, say something.
We live in a time that everybody kind of stays to themselves, and there's an African proverb that talks about it takes a village to raise a child.
You might be surprised to find out Connecticut has no law dictating at what age it's appropriate to leave your kids home alone. The welfare agency Connecticut Voices for Children is advocating at the state level for a child tax credit, expanding access to affordable child care, and holding landlords accountable.
There are a lot of families across the state of Connecticut who are really struggling to get by, put food on the table, try to make sure they have child care for their kids, have a safe, affordable place to live.
DCF Commissioner Vanessa Durantes on changing the child welfare narrative.
It's very important to destigmatize the need to ask for help.
And it's important to note here that while Frank has been charged with multiple counts of risk of injury to a minor, she has still not been charged directly in connection to her son's death, although she is scheduled to appear in court on August 3rd. We're live outside the Hartford Police Station. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Brutal story, Matt. Thank you. Moving on here, a swift arrest after a violent death. New Haven police investigating 14 homicides so far this year. 10 have led to arrests, but few murder arrests are as swift as one for a 49-year-old man who's not yet been laid to rest. Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez has the new details coming out of police headquarters today.
Elm City Police Chief Carl Jacobson wishes all homicides were solved this quickly. What helped make this murder arrest so swift? A community's love for the victim. Robert Franklin Jr., known by a community as Cool Rob.
If you knew him, he protected you. He protected everybody, which may have, been almost some of the reason to his demise.
Lakeisha Franklin taking to the mic at police headquarters Wednesday, more than a week after her 49-year-old brother and father of 2 was stabbed to death.
So a lot of people say snitching or ratting. That made the difference, that you guys loved Robert Franklin Jr., Cool Rob enough that you guys came forward immediately. We haven't even buried him, but our healing process can begin.
A growing vigil rests at Lloyd and Exchange Streets, where police say Franklin and Jaime Lugo Rodriguez got into a fight on a Saturday afternoon.
Took Mr. Rodriguez into custody and placed him under arrest for murder.
Detectives also crediting cameras and partnerships with correction and probation officials with helping them get so-called swift justice. 3 days after Cool Rob was rushed to Yale New Haven Hospital with fatal stab wounds to the chest, officers charged a 46-year-old convicted felon with his murder.
But the common theme from everybody out in that area, in that community, was how much they did love him and how what a good person he was. And you know, this is a tragic murder, like they all are. And we just wish we could get justice this quickly for other people.
Rodriguez is behind bars with bail set at $2 million in the Elm City. I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Samaya, thank you very much. We have an update tonight. Waterbury police have obtained arrest warrants for 2 people in connection to a homicide in the city. Police are looking to arrest 29-year-old Joshua Morales on murder charges in connection to the shooting death of Gregory Robertson. That happened at the Bunker Social Club earlier this month. They're also looking to arrest the owner of the club, 34-year-old Andrew Dennis, for reckless endangerment and operating an unlicensed bar. Police previously arrested 34-year-old German Pena Lopez for his alleged involvement. Anyone with information should contact police. Well, the Naugatuck father who is accused of killing his 11-month-old daughter has pleaded not guilty.
Taking any alcohol, drugs, or medication that prevent you from understanding what's happening here? Yeah.
Christopher Francis Sweeney waived his probable cause hearing and pled not guilty to allegedly brutally killing his 11-month-old daughter Camilla just days before her first birthday in November. Police say he was on special parole during the time of that murder and cut off his court-issued GPS monitoring device. After Camilla's body was found by her mother, he went on the run for around 2 weeks afterward. A multi-state manhunt drew support from multiple police departments and the FBI, but he was eventually caught at a bus stop in Waterbury. He does have a lengthy criminal record and is due back in court on September 25th.